who faced impossible odds to find and play the games of gods told in the stories of old. Two outlaws that spit in the face of logic and traverse Belgian wasteland. Two bandits out for a steal. Will they return with legendary loot, or will this prairie of retro games be their downfall? Find out in this week's episode of Flea Market Bandidos.
Welcome to episode 11 of Flea Market Bandidos. I can't believe it's 11 already.
God damn it, asshole. Let's go Flea Market Bandidoing.
We went to, I think, we're going to show 3 flea markets in this episode in total. The first one being in Kontich.
Last week we went to Kontich for the first time. Well, not the first time, we've been there before. And there was this flea market there. It was only one street. We'd hoped it would be more, but there really wasn't anything. There were a few PS1 games, there were a few PS2 games, but people didn't want to back down from their price, and they asked like the upper limit or just way too much. So we wound up not getting anything and wound up getting very frustrated with a particular woman who had really everything she had. She didn't want to back down. We heard other customers go up to her and ask for, hey, how much is this sport booklet, you know? And she'd go like 30 euros or 20 euros or something, yeah. 20 euros. And the dude was like, a bit much. She gave him like the evil eye, stuff like that. I asked for a Game Boy Pokemon Blue, Red and Blue strategy guide, which I don't need, you know, because I'm a Pokemaster, but which would be cool to have. And it was like, I don't know, 4 euros she asked, and I go like, or 5, she asked 5 I think, and I go like, you know, maybe 3. So no, that's one of the things I can't back down on. And then afterwards we go for a few of her Game Boy Advance games, and we go, you know, maybe €1 less or something, you know, and she goes, no, there's one of the few things I can't go back on. We're like, that's everything then, woman!
People weren't cooperating that day. They really weren't. We found one guy with like quite a lot of PS2 games, and I saw Ratchet & Clank 3, and I thought, I'll ask the guy how much. I saw that the box was damaged a little bit, which doesn't bother me that much. I prefer decent boxes, of course, because I prefer to display my games and look at them, and I also like playing them, of course, but there's always something to be said for complete games, for pristine boxes. So I went over to the guy and I asked him how much he wanted per game, and I believe he said 3 euros per PS2 game, which isn't a bad price, but it's just a little over what I usually pay. I try not to pay more than 2 euros per PS2 game. I think that's
fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you go by pretty much the same.
Yeah, same standard.
Yeah. So I asked the guy, I said, look, the box is a little bit damaged. Can I buy this for 2 euros? Which I think is still a fair price for that game in damaged condition that it was. The CD itself wasn't in perfect condition, so the disc itself wasn't in perfect condition. And the guy said, no, there's nothing wrong with this game. It's clearly still playable. I won't back down from my price. So usually when something like that happens, and you notice right away that the person isn't willing to budge 1 inch, I usually walk away right there, because he's not going to give you any other deals on any other games, and 3 euros is just a little too much for a PS2 game. You've got to draw the line somewhere. So
Steve had considered buying Ratchet & Clank 3, and I think I'll get him to buy it eventually, but I think it was 3 euros or something, and the box was a bit damaged. And he goes up to the guy and he says like, yeah, it's a bit damaged, but you know, can't you do a bit off the price because it's damaged? And he's like, yeah, but no, the game still works. And he's like, yeah, but it's the box, it's the collecting thing. And dude just didn't get it. He just didn't get it at all. So wound up buying nothing. So the flea market was a bust, and we tried to go back to our car, but Kontich is weird, and we wind up in a parking here somewhere, and we don't know how to get back. What is Kontich, anyways? But yeah, so not a big success, that one.
Fast forward to today, actually, well, for us today, we went to the same place, Kontich, different flea markets, same streets, but different flea market, much bigger this time. Oh yeah, and we were trying to get there, and Kontich is like, it's this really convoluted place as far as how streets are positioned against each other goes, and how Kontich looks. It's very easy to get lost in Kontich, is what I'm trying to say.
That really do not make sense because we are in Kontich.
And we thought we'd take a shortcut because we were parked a little ways away from the flea market, so we took a shortcut through the park. And the shortcut just kept going, and it turned out it wasn't a shortcut at all.
You can bet somebody lives there too!
I think it's like a little shrine.
Well, then God lives there.
No, it's something really weird.
No, I told you, you can bet somebody lives here.
What?
And they don't drink real cola, they drink painted cans of cola. You don't see that, but... You do not see that, but that's... pretty fucking strange.
This is weird, man. I'm really unsettled now.
Yeah, well, we're in the forest, it's starting to rain.
It's like start to the Belgian Blair Witch Project.
Blair Kontich project. We really got lost there, and it's like suddenly there's this church in the middle of a park, and we go like, what the hell? What the fuck? What is this, Steve? This is still Kontich.
I don't know what
There's
the fuck
this huge church here. Where did that come from? In the mansion.
Maybe it vanishes and only turns up like a couple days per year.
I'm scared.
I don't even know if we're going in the right direction.
There's a tree telling us this park is in the dog bathroom. What is this? It was confusing, it was. You sent it all to hell! You sent it all to hell! We're never getting out, man! We're never getting out!
We just need to find a couple of games, obviously.
Fuck the games!
We'll get out of here.
Okay.
Eventually.
Let's go. Then earlier today, we went back. There was a much bigger flea market this time. We saw the woman again with the weird, that didn't want to back down from her prices. We saw her again, but there was a lot more. It was really a lot of ground to cover. The only way Kontich knows how, by just piling it on, just everywhere. There was no structure whatsoever. It was inside buildings. There were tents outside that you had to clamber through. You had food bars everywhere. There were cars, second-hand cars, and they were beautiful cars. But it's like, what the hell is this? All this stuff doing here? It was really confusing. But it was a fun flea market. I think it was the biggest one yet we've went to this season, I think. And that made it kind of fun, you know. It's good to see a huge flea market. Any huge flea market is gonna have a lot of stuff you don't want, but it gives you the opportunity to, you know, really look for stuff. That's fun.
We ran across games again on this flea market, which is a good thing. First thing we noticed when we arrived there was a boxed Xbox, which is something that I kind of want. I kind of want an Xbox. I've never had anything related to Microsoft console gaming, so I kind of wanted it, but I'm really cheap, so I wasn't. I thought I expected it to be something along the lines of 50 euros. And I wasn't prepared to pay that, so we thought, yeah, we'd walk around a little bit, and upon leaving we asked the guy how much it was, because we thought it would still be there. Turns out, by the way, that it wasn't there, and we ended up regretting not asking the guy. But Obvious did buy an Xbox 360 game from that very same dude.
I bought a copy of Xbox 360 game for 4 euros, and you know, it really surprised me. I'm starting to find Xbox 360 games that are cheap, which is good for me, but I think Steve would appreciate it if we found more retro games which are decently priced. But I think people are starting to realize that those are worth money, so they focus on those, and then the Xbox 360 games for now are a bit cheaper. That's the thing I think is happening. But yeah, I got Darkness. It's the Darkness. It's it's an Xbox 360 classic. I haven't played it yet at all. It's a first-person shooter. I heard it's pretty darn good. The box was in mint condition. The CD, I think it looked like it hadn't been played yet, even though I think it's now third-hand copy. And the booklet was all there. I think it was a good deal for 4 euros. There were some other interesting games, but nothing I really wanted, so I left them there. And then, yeah, we went on looking for more stuff.
Couple of Game Boy games. One lady was selling Game Boy Advance games along with regular Game Boy games. Also Game Boy Advance, the console, the handheld itself, which is something I also wanted to pick up, which I've never played before, by the way, Game Boy Advance. So we asked her how much it was, and she was asking like 30 euros or something. She seemed a bit insulted after I started laughing, so I don't know. We walked away from that place. We did come across some PS2 games.
Steve did find a game. I'm forgetting which one it was.
SSX3.
Yeah, SSX3. He's somehow very into SSX. It's the snowboarding games.
But SSX3 seems to be in a pretty flawless condition. And I played SSX3 here and liked it a lot more than I thought, so picked this up for €1.
Well, she has 2, you got down to 1.
Yep.
I never thought I'd get into any sort of sports games, let alone a snowboarding racing sports game. But I've played this a couple of times with a buddy of mine, and it's a pretty awesome game. I saw Metal Jesus Rocks do a review on it as part of his Hidden Gems for the PS2 series.
We'll give the link.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description, sure. And it's an awesome game, I've got to say. It's a lot better than I thought. Controls are smooth. For being solely on a snowy mountain, the tracks are pretty varied. Tracks are pretty varied. And I don't know. There's even customization, which boards to use and stuff. The point is, it's a sports game with good controls, and that's something you seldomly see, in my opinion, of course.
It was also fun to see an old familiar face, person who doesn't know us. I think we have footage of this, but there's an owl lady who allows you to put owls on your hand and take a picture. So I think it's in our second, or is it the third episode of Flea Market Bandidos.
Wil jij een foto met een naal op je?
In the ending credits of that, past the credits of that flick, you have this woman calling out, "Kun je foto's trekken met een naal op je hand?" Kun je foto's trekken met een naal op je hand? And she did the exact same thing this time. Kun je foto's trekken met een naal op je hand? It was hilarious. If we see her once more, I'm gonna have it done. I am.
After that, Avius dropped me off at home. He went home to eat, and we decided to meet up later in the day.
We're going into overtime. There's a flea market nearby. We already talked about it in a few. It's the one with the Rape Shack. You know?
Yeah, the Rape Shack one.
Yeah. So we're going back to the Rape Shack. It's past noon, so we're not expecting to find a lot, but one can hope. One can dream.
Yep, I've got my keys.
It's raining.
Men, hallelujah.
It's raining, man.
The Rape Shack flea market. Yeah, that's becoming a recurring theme. That's a thing now. Apparently, the Rape Shack is a thing now.
Rape Shack flea market, which has been going like every 2 weeks in the past few months. Yeah.
So third time's the charm in the Rape Shack. And apparently it was, because once again, as Obvious predicted in the previous episodes, the Rape Shack grew and the Rape Shack became better. That is to say, the Rape Shack flea market became better.
It's getting better. The first time we went, it was horrible. The second time we went, there were some PC games, nothing really worthwhile, except like pamphlets for a Commodore, I think it was. And the guy said he'd sold it already, so that was bad. But now we went back and we actually found some stuff. I got a wrestling game, I think. Oh wait, yeah. I got a wrestling game. It's SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth. That's the reason why I bought it, because it's a euro. It's bad condition, but I just wanted to buy it because it was like, shut your mouth. So that's the only reason why I bought it.
Quite a number of PS2 games and GameCube games, which you don't see that often. I'm always excited, especially since I acquired my GameCube recently. I'm always excited to get new GameCube games. We asked how much they were, and the guy just said, like every good seller on a flea market should say, €2 a game. And that was fine by us. €1 for PS1 games, by the way. He also had a couple of PS1 games, like 2 left or something. I ended up buying 007 Nightfire for the GameCube, which we played a little. Obvious played a little. I watched. Doesn't seem like a bad game. To be honest, it doesn't seem like my kind of game. But it was the game that most spoke to me when I went through the GameCube titles. The other titles were sport titles and Medal of Honor. So those really don't interest me that much.
I also bought Ace Combat, the Belgian War. I only have like a few, I think 1 or 2 other titles in the Ace/Air Combat series, but I like these games, so I'm looking forward to this one, high hopes. It looks pretty cool. And he also gave us some booklets to a Game Boy Advance version of Nightfire 007, which is pretty fucking funny because Steve had bought the GameCube version of Nightfire from the same guy, and I was like, do you happen to have the Advance version? Because, you know, I see the booklet there, and he's, oh, I don't know what that is, you can take that for free. And he gave that along with 2 demos for the PC version of 007 Nightfire, so we can play a lot of 007 Nightfire now. So, the Rape Shack flea market is getting better and better, and we have a new appointment on the 7th of August. No wait, 9th. Yeah. 9th of August. Way to go, Steve August. God damn it, I can't talk!
This was episode 11 of Flea Market Bandidos. I hope you somewhat enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, a comment, and maybe even subscribe to our channel. That would really help us out. Bye-bye.
The Twilight Zone.
Dit foto's trekken bij het helpen.